My name is Gabriel Garzón Montan. I'm a singer, rapper, producer, and multi-instrumentalist from New York City. My personal story is one of travel. Mi papá es colombiano, ma mère est française. I was born in New York City in Brooklyn, so I'm from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You can't talk about New York without talking about reggaeton. By the early 2000s, when I was in middle school, you heard it everywhere. It's a global force in pop music now, and it's here to stay. In order to understand and respect its roots, we have to go back to the originator, the Afro-Caribbean people who put it on the map. From Jamaican dancehall records making their way to Panama, to reggae and Espanol flips, and eventually the spread of dembow from San Juan to New York. Reggaeton is a celebration of resistance and of systematically excluded communities taking up space. The story starts in Panama. And we're talking about Black Panamanians who are descendants of Jamaicans who came through in the early 1900s to begin construction on the Panama Canal. In the 1980s, as dancehall traveled from Jamaica to Panama, Latinos started singing in Spanish over Jamaican rhythms, paving the way for reggae en español. At the same time, you had MCs in Puerto Rico spitting over American hip-hop beats. As we move into the 90s, that we all know is being created in Long Island by Panamanian and Jamaican producers. You hear that? By the mid-90s, the sound had focused, and that pattern we all know became the dominant rhythm. At its heart, reggaeton is the soundtrack to fighting oppression. Reggaeton is inherently political. It speaks truth to power, whether tackling issues of classism, colorism, systematic racism, or respectability politics in El Caribe and beyond. And the political establishment responded. In the 90s, you saw the censorship and the criminalization of reggaeton music in Puerto Rico. At this time, there was a big push to silence voices speaking out against corruption and systemic abuse. Despite these challenges, reggaeton continued to expand beyond Puerto Rico. By the early 2000s, reggaeton had become a worldwide commercial phenomenon. As new audiences were exposed to the sound, the cultural context of its genesis became increasingly obscured. Since then, the soundtrack has traveled. It's found new homes in Mexico City, Medellin, Santo Domingo, Havana, Miami, and beyond. As the sound becomes more and more ubiquitous, women and queer folks are telling their story over this rhythm. As the torch is passed down and new generations offer their take on the sound and evolve the genre, reggaeton continues to travel new places. We wonder, where is it going to next? And where will you go to be a part of it?